welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing the hometown dates for the Golden Bachelorette. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's get into some hot goss before we do. So this is below deck sailing yacht related. And Gary believes that he's being edited out. I mean, we're definitely seeing a lot of him either way. So, I don't know why he thinks that. Again, this article was maybe a few weeks back. We're on episode, I think, 4 of it now, so we're a month in. Um, but I mean, I feel like we're seeing quite a bit of him. I don't feel any different than past seasons, but he took to Instagram on October 14th. This probably would have been right after the premiere, to share his reaction after watching a screener of the newest episode. So maybe it was the second episode. And he said, quote, "Sad to see this has all been edited out of tonight's episode. Scary how one person's quote unquote lies can ruin someone's career and livelihood. I don't think they're lies, my guy. We see how he is with women. I can understand. I could understand that maybe he doesn't know boundaries, you know? Um, so yeah, he wrote that in reference to the allegations made against him before the season aired on Bravo. He continued to say, "Oh well, my head is held high. My head is held. I'm high as I don't know, whatever. As I know the truth, karma will get ya anyways." Okay. He speculated that his scenes will continue to be removed, adding, quote, "Seeing as most of me will probably be edited out of this season, I will try to post as much as possible to show you all what you're missing out on." Okay, whatever. Good for you, Gary. Do you. Let's move on to the next piece. This is Golden Bachelor, I think about Golden Bachelor related. Um, so Kathy's right. Yeah, Kathy. I didn't catch the name, but I'm pretty sure it's Kathy. Um, she shared that she had a lower facelift done. She posted this on Instagram on October 15th. Um, and she's been posting her post-surgery recovery from home. So in a joint post that was shared by her as well as Susan, she gave her reaction after having the procedure and a CO2 treatment, which is a non-invasive laser skin treatment done. She said, quote, uh, plastic surgery, I believe is how you say it. So it's going to be a great result. In an accompanying clip, Susan filmed the pair sitting on a couch together as Kathy had bandages wrapped firmly around her head. And she wrote, "Here's my patient. She better listen because now I've got to go get her prescription drugs." And Kathy could be seen saying, "Well, look, it wasn't bad. My ear hurts a little. I'm a little burnt here, but it really wasn't that bad." I mean, I don't know why you feel the need to do any of this. I know you're in the limelight, but uh, just age gracefully at this point. You know what I mean? I don't know. Um, but she remains hopeful in hopeful spirits about her surgery, saying, "I'm going to think positively. In a few days, I'm going to be as good as new." And she said, "And guess what? For all of you out there who say Kathy has done something, she's not telling the truth. Now you know I'm telling the truth. I have done something." In a follow-up video posted from the next morning and less than 24 hours after her facelift surgery, Kathy appeared with a swollen face and bandages while sitting at a table in her robe. Um, so, um, she also shared an update on how she was feeling. She said it's not too bad. The pain's not too bad. Two things are a problem. I'm having trouble talking, which for me is a problem. She unfortunately has to zip it. Um, and and secondly, is this what they mean by morning after pill? No, sweetheart. But anyways, that's basically that. If you wanna see how that's been, I know we're about 15 days post that now, you can go on our Instagram and see what's been up. That's basically it for that. So let's get into another piece of hot goss, and this is Love is Blind related. So this has to do with an interview that Nick did pre the reunion. So this is fairly recent. And they were kind of asking him a few different questions. So that's this is going to be a little bit longer. So if you want to skip this, I would maybe skip maybe the next 3 to 5 minutes or so. If you want to skip and just go straight into the Golden Bachelorette. So let's gonna start that now. So they were interviewing him, asking him different questions, and we're just gonna go through that and see what he has to say because some of this is interesting. So they ask, "Where are you living these days?" He says that pretty much right after the show, I got a place here in Tyson's Corner, so he's not living with his parents anymore. I always wanted to be right here. It's a great central location for my work. DC is 20 minutes away. Arlington is maybe 10, 15. I got enough space for me and my cat. I've got a nice view, updated appliances. It's all I could really ask for. The next question. We go to your parents' house in the most recent episodes, and there's a lot of pineapple decor. Why so many pineapples? One might speculate, but he says, it's my mom's favorite fruit. I was at Home Goods. I saw these cute little pineapple glass things. Got one for me, got one for my mom. Can't forget mom. Two things you'll see when you go to my mom's place are pineapples and Jesus, crosses and candles. So, that's basically that. I mean, the main part of bringing that up was the fact that he's on his own. The rest of the interview didn't really make sense, but if you're interested and you want to see more of what he had to say, there's a lot more that he said, then I would just, as you sure if you find Nick Dorca interview pre-reunion, you probably can find it. But that's basically that. That's it for Hot Goss. Let's jump into the reason that we are here. So, the Golden Bachelorette, Season 1, Episode 6. We are on hometowns. So, Guy, hometown, his first. And as we know, he lives in Reno, Nevada, but he we're in Lake Tahoe, which I always was under the impression, but I guess like makes sense that it would stretch between the two states. But I was always under the impression like Tahoe was in California, but I guess it also stretches into Nevada, which again, like I said, I know geography. I know that makes sense. But I just didn't realize it was also stretches into Nevada, but it's beautiful. And he says it's a home away from home. So they kind of go out there, they go on a little boat ride. Um, and they kind of stop at one point to kind of make these wishes because he says, legend has it that if you make a wish and you throw a coin into the lake, I guess the Tahoe, I think, is probably a person that the lake's named after. Um, he'll grant you a wish. So that's what they do, and they make wishes about finding their person. And they also talk about the risk is in this process and the fact that like it is a little scary for him on the one hand being let down. He really struggled after his divorce. We'll just leave that there. And with her, she also has the fear of not being picked at the end of this. Uh, I mean, I think she uses the term picked, but what I think she really means to say, I mean, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but what I think she really means to say is someone not necessarily being ready nor prepared to propose at the end. Which, I mean, I feel like in this particular version of the show with the Golden by the Bachelor or Bachelorette, I don't know if it's necessary that they get engaged. Um, I mean, I know that sometimes the older you are, you might want to move a little faster. But, like, after 9 weeks, but it's I don't think I don't think there is a guy here who's left that wouldn't, quote unquote, pick her at the end, whether it's engagement or not. I don't think anyone here would not pick her. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. Um, so she says that, she also feels really guilty because of John, kind of moving on. It's maybe a little harder for her, um, with the passing of her husband, which is understandable. And he says, I don't have any intentions of replacing John, and he wouldn't be able to replace none of these guys would be able to replace John. That's impossible. Um, but he says, I don't want to replace him. And he says, take all the time that you need to process everything before, making a decision as well, right? So they are now back in Reno and they're going to be meeting his family. We got a lot of people here. We got sisters, children, a little bit. We have one sister named Greer. We have Glenn, who's his son. I think it's Edon, I think is how you said his name, is his grandson. He was a cutie. We have a lot of people. um, there's another sister here as well. I can't remember her name. I think I catch her name a little later, but we have another sister. We have a brother, his daughter Mackenzie. So they talk about like the first date being the quote unquote senior prom. And we also talk about how he kind of helped with Charles, kind of help the grieving process with his wife, which I'm like, Charles, I miss him. We're gonna see him next week, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, they kind of talk about that and how Guy kind of helped him process that. Um, so yeah, so they kind of, go through that. And then Joan talks to his sisters, and Greer says, she kind of understands where Joan is coming from. She lost her husband. Um, and Guy was kind of the one who really stepped in to help that transition from, with the kids as well. So he was there, and she says the encourager there for her kids. Gail is the other sister, and Gail hopes that she picks him. She hopes they all are gonna hope she picks, but she can only pick one. And he talks to his daughter again, Mackenzie, and they kind of just, again, just talk about. She kind of knows how hard it was for him after the divorce and everything, and kind of wants him to find his happy. So they talk about that. He also talks to Hank and Glenn, which I think are his sons. They're they're cute. they're they're cute. Um and they think that she fits right in with the family. And they talk to Guy, and he says, he feels that he's like 95% falling. Um, and he says that he is ready to propose. Like he feels like he's truly ready to do it. Um, and he talks to his sisters and they tell him, you look happy and we like her. And we would love to have her in our family. So don't screw this up, basically. I'm kidding. I have that last part. Um, and he tells them at that point, he's like, I never thought that I would say this, that I can love again. Um, and I can be loved again, is what he also said, which is sweet. I'm just very guarded with Guy after everything that's come out. I understand that everything was dropped and everything, but I'm still very guarded with him, you know? But anyway, Joan is leaving at this point, and she says that she loves his family, and he tells her that he's falling for her because 'tis the time to say that you're falling for somebody. If you don't, you're gonna snooze or lose kind of situation. But yeah, that's basically it for Guy's date. So let's go into our second hometown date, and we are in Chicago. And we're with Pascal first, because remember we have two people from Chicago this time around. Um, so I loved her dress. I really loved her dress. Anyway, he has a house account at like a Starbucks type situation. I mean, I don't think this was a Starbucks, but he just has a house account. Put it on my tab. Wow. I think that was fake. Did I not think that was fake? I don't think he really has a house account. Who has a house account at a coffee shop? You pay the bill, you have the money. I'm confused. It's what, $5? You know what I mean? Like, what is happening? Oh, okay. Anyway, he says that I'm in charge today and he likes being in charge. And I said, okay, that did something. Yeah. I like a man who could be in charge in certain situations. Really and truly only one situation, but like, I like it. Anyway, so we go to his salon, which is very fancy. We have like a nice little staircase here, you know, really fancy. Everyone is in the same color, black. It's real fancy. Like, I could never walk in there. I couldn't. They'll look at me and treat me like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, and I'm gonna have to go back in there and be like, "Big mistake." Actually, I wouldn't even be able to do that because I couldn't afford that. Anyway, so his staff is really excited to see him. I really hope that he's a really great boss and they actually really do like him. I hope this isn't for the show and that he's actually an asshole. But based on what we're seeing, they seem to really like him and they're very happy to see him there. So, okay. But then he's like, get back to work. We gotta get back to work, do hair. There's just so much people around. Jonah's helping with washing hair. She said, like, I haven't washed anyone's hair since her kids. So it was like, a familiar experience. And she is then herself getting the VIP treatment. I don't think they were doing her hair or anything like that, but she's getting like a hand massage, hot towels, champagne. My God, I've never walked into a hair salon that has champagne. What? Anyway, he talks to her up after about, him having past heartbreak and that it's hard for him to be vulnerable and open up. And he says that I am, a little guarded because of that, which is, I get it. He actually didn't feel ready to be even on the show in the first place. I think one of his kids signed him up to do it. But he also says, with that being said, though, he is feeling confident. Um, then we go into his very expensive car, for which he is very much speeding. And I thought, where are the police when you need them? And they go speeding down the road, and that's that. Now we arrive, I think it's his place. We're meeting his family. We have Natalie, who is his daughter, John, who is his friend. We have I think his name was Steven, which is another friend. Maxim, who we have met before via the video, is his son. He's here too. Price, I think it's Price, Bryce with a P, his grandson. And we have Sarah, who is his other daughter, who looks very young as well. But anyway, Joan tells them that, her first impression of him, like, she's like, I don't want to say this in front of the kids, but he, was speaking in French. She doesn't really know what he said, but all she could really think of, oh, he's sexy. So, um, she talks to, oh, before we get to that, sorry, kind of missed this part. His grandson asks, kind of struggles to get it out. And I'm like, my guy, get it out. But I know he's 8. That's fine. Anyway, he says, did you have to sleep in a room with a lot of grandpas? So they kind of talk about the grandpas that he had to sleep with, the fact that Greg snored. He missed the part where he made Greg do his laundry. But anyways, he says, had to kick him out and everything like that. So they kind of, he kind of tells him that story about sleeping with the grandpas. But then Joan talks to Maxim. And he's like, listen, I've had 0 parties. 0. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. But she does ask him, like, did he have a lot of girlfriends. Because the thing with me with Pascal that even though maybe he hasn't been in a committed or relationship or at least like a meaningful type of relationship, um, he dates. He dates a lot. He has women up the ass. Are you kidding? And they're all young. There's no doubt in my mind this man is around young women. I say late 20s, maybe into the late 30s. This guy isn't with people who are that's my more my concern with Pascal. I do believe that he maybe wants to have something a little more meaningful, that maybe deep down he knows that he's not gonna really have that with a young woman. But, my main concern with him is that is he really ready to give up the bachelor lifestyle and be with Joan? Um, and not only that, like, is he okay being with an older woman? I I don't know. That's the part for me that I don't trust with Pascal. I do like Pascal. He has grown on me, but I just don't know if I just don't know if like he's the one I do have a little more concern of whether or not I think he will pick her if she picks him, but I don't know if it will be a long-term thing because I think Pascal is Pascal and Pascal is going to do what Pascal is going to do. That's what I worry about. But please prove me wrong. Um, so yeah, he says that he has had a lot of girlfriends, but he's sick of the dating lifestyle. No, he's not. No, he's not. I don't think he really is. I think maybe in terms of not having something, again, more meaningful, as someone that, is going to always be there, I'm sure that can get exhausting and tiring. But I highly doubt this man is sick and tired of being around young women who are probably throwing themselves at him because A, money, B, he's not a bad looking guy, Z, he has a really fast car. Some young women really like a guy with a fast car. So, you know, it's sexy, right? So that part is like, I don't know if he really is tired of that part of it? But anyways, because I mean, I don't know, man. But um, Pascal talks to Maxim and he's like, I read your card to Joan because obviously they were there around Father's Day, if you remember. And he's like, I had tears in my eyes. He's like, you drive me up the wall, but you can tell he's a really great father and that he really loves his kids and he loves his grandson. So I'll give him that. Um, and he just says, give me a lot of tough times, but I'm always by your side. Maxim has never seen him cry before because he was getting emotional here. And he's like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, what the heck? Then Joan talks to Natalie, who's his daughter. And Joan says that he is kind of a lot like John. He's very similar to John. And she says, my biggest fear though is that I will pick him and he will not pick me. And again, that's kind of like honestly, I mean, I did say previously with Guy's Date that I don't think there's really a guy here that won't pick her. And I still believe that, but like I just said previously, I also think it possibly wouldn't last with Pascal. But I don't know. Like I don't know. Um Natalie says, I don't see that happening. Of course she doesn't. Um, Price asks Joan, do you have any grandkids? She says, yes, I have 4. And she says, my youngest actually demanded to no kissing. Don't kiss any guys. And he's like, well, did you kiss my grandpa? And she's like, okay, I did. And um but anyway, yeah, so now it's time to say goodbye. And Joan tells him that I love your family. And I can tell here, though, with this goodbye, that's a little different. And I noticed it as well with Jordan. Something's up with the water in Chicago. What is going on? But I noticed it with Jordan as well. I'm noticing it with these 2 men she says are a little more on the fence, quote, unquote. It's a little hesitant. She's kind of hesitant here. At the same time with this goodbye, and it's interesting to see how the stark differences between Guy and Chalk's goodbyes versus Pascal and Jordan's. I don't know. But she says that, her roles are still up, so we'll kind of see how that goes. But that's it for that date. We're gonna take a quick break here, and when we come back, we will be jumping in with Jordan's date. Hi, everyone. So I have a new song for you to take a listen to. This song is called The Well of Your Love by Form Wandela. It's FORMWANDLA. And I did get this song from the Podsafe music directory on the World Podcast Network. So if you like the song and you want to download it as well, there will be links to the song in the show notes, to Spotify, as well as YouTube, as well as the link to the Podsafe music directory. Again, is on the World Podcast Network. So without further ado, I am going to play that song for you now.
Round and round in circles, dying slow from thirst. Mirror just dancing around me, wrapping my heart in a curse. Nobody looked my way then. They passed me on the other side, but you wouldn't walk around me. You know you didn't pass me by. You gave me water from the well of your love, shaking my body from the heat up above. You gave me water from the well of your love, cooling my fever from the well of your love. Up and up and lifted, taken from the brink. Finally there's an oasis, no try before I can drink. Nobody looked my way then. They passed me on the other side, but you wouldn't walk around me. You know you didn't pass me by. You gave me water from the well of your love, shaking my body from the heat up above. You gave me water from the well of your love, cooling my fever from the well of your love. You gave me water from the well of your love, shaking my body from the heat up above. You gave me water from the well of your love, cooling my fever from the well of your love. The well of your love. Oh, the well of your love.
No, I am back. So we this might sound a little broken up. Hopefully it doesn't. The second part of it might sound a little broken up. Just as a this second part is being recorded after the announcement has gone out that this is going to be coming out a little later. That's because we had to record Love is Blind reunion. I'm actually recording that with Ava, so that's why we might sound a little broken up. Like right now, you could probably hear my bird in the background because he hears my brother downstairs. So he starts to freak out. But while we still have some time before I have to stop to record Love's Blind, let's get into the next date. So we're with Jordan now, since we have come off the date with Pascal. Um, they They go get some deep dish pizza, Chicago style. We got some rainbow cake that actually very much reminds me of the Cake Boss cake, Buddy cake. Looked really good. He says it's the best cake ever. We also take a shot of, I don't know what this was they took. Maybe, I don't know, it looked brown, so it could have been bourbon or whatever else. I don't know. I don't drink a lot of brown liquor, so I don't know. And then we were going straight into seeing his family from that. We got all of his kids, his daughters, I think he has some sons too. And they kind of started talking about like their first one-on-one date, which was obviously the ice skating. He says to his brothers, "We don't ice skate. Like you guys don't know how to ice skate. They don't know how to ice skate." It's like, yeah, we never learned how to ice skate. And Joan is like, "Well, I figured you guys are from Chicago, so you guys would know how to skate." Ma'am, I'm from Canada. I don't know how to skate. Since we're using Chicago or cold places that have ice as the reason that we know how to ice skate. Um, and she says that when they did the date, he had the most epic fall. But screw the ice skating date. Screw the epic fall. Have we not talked about REO Speedwagon? I'm sorry. That's the highlight of the date. What are you talking about? But anyway, Dan's brother explained that, you guys might be worried about the fast pace and all of that, but he understands the fast paced situation. Him and his wife have been married for 38 years, and they actually started off very quickly themselves. They met in June, engaged by August, and I guess they got married whenever they got married, and they've been together for 38 years. So if anyone believes in the quick process, I guess it would be him. Um, and she talks to his brothers and yeah, I think he talks to his brothers, I think. And then I don't know, didn't catch anything really interesting about talking to the brothers, I guess. He talks to Jamie, who is his daughter, and I think her partner was there as well. And she says that she's not really surprised that he has not really been proclaiming his love for Joan, because she did speak to Joan first, and Joan kind of mentioned that, he's maybe a little more of a slow burn. Not really surprising for her. Um, and also mentions that like he has maybe walls up, and he's actually surprised by that, which I'm surprised that he's surprised. I'm gonna keep saying I like Jordan. I have nothing against him. I'm surprised he's here. I am really surprised that he's still here at this point, because I just didn't see, yes, I had a good date, but like I didn't see any chemistry really. No, not not enough to have a hometown date, Um, but Joan ends up talking to his other daughter, the one he's that's really close with him. And she talks about that her dad hasn't really done a lot of dating since I think he was divorced, I believe. And yes, he's divorced. And she does ask Joan, like, are some of the other guys kind of reserved like he is? And she says, two are a little more open, and two, including your dad, are the ones that are a little more reserved. Um, and she worries again that she mentions with some of the other, well, with Pascal really, that he won't pick her if she picks him. So I think it's actually this daughter she went in on this. So I think so no, okay, I'm confused. Jamie's the one that he's really close with. And then this is the one with her partner. I can't remember her name. Allie, I think her name is. And this is the one where she was saying, you're not opening up. And this is where they talk about everything having to do with that. So so she tells him that. And Jordan kind of responds back with, "Oh yeah, maybe I should be more clear with my feelings. Clearly she needs that." So, but yeah, at this point, she's gonna need a little more than what your word for it, I guess. But now it's time for Joan to go, and Joan feels that she has some insight. She says, though, that there is a very big wall that needs to be knocked down, and he hopes that they can make, you know, those steps to do that, right? Um, but she feels confused, and that's what I mean. Like the goodbyes are very different between the two. She doesn't think he kind of knows where he wants to go. But they say their goodbyes. And again, very similar to Pascal, it is pretty awkward. But that's it for really the date with Jordan. Now we have Chalk's date, hometown date, and we are in Wichita, Kansas, and we are going to be going right into meeting his family, which were on like one of his friends' ranches, I believe. And we're going to be meeting his dad, his kids, Taylor and Tyler. And Tyler looks like what's his face who plays Spider-Man. I can't remember his name right now. We have Tom, who is Kathy's father. Kathy is his wife, his late wife. And as we know, unfortunately, his mom is not here because she passed away, as we know. Um, but so they first kind of start paying tribute to his mom, um, saying, they would be remiss if they didn't, and kind of having this like, kind of memorial service. And Joan is included in that, which I think is, really sweet of them. And they're going to be planting an oak tree in her memory. And when they show photos of his mom, she was beautiful. She was a stunner. Like she was gorgeous. Um and Crystal, who was his mom's caregiver, is also here as well. And Chalk says, cancer is an evil thing. And amen to that. He's very unfortunately been really touched by cancer a lot within, the people in his life. So that's really sad. So one of his people give him some ruby slippers because when in Kansas, right? And she talks to his kids and she talks about, the fear of possibly him not, you know, choosing her and at the end of this, or sorry, not choosing her, the fear of him not possibly coming back after the passing of his mom, because she said, obviously you guys are his biggest priority as it should be. So she definitely worried about that. And that's when she kind of knew like how important he was when he left and came back. And he talks I think his son, I think it was, that talks to Chalk. And he says, he's crazy about her, or someone talks to him. I can't remember who it was, but I thought it was his brother. But she talks to Tom Sr., again, it's Kathy's dad. And he says, I've never seen him so happy since Kathy. And he says he loves Chalk and he hopes that she picks him. He says, "Your family if you want to be." And then Chalk talks to his dad. His dad looks good. And, he kind of mentions to Chalk that he's kind of shocked. He's shocked that he is kind of going through this process because he's not one to really go this quickly through things. But after meeting Joan, he gets it. Um, he says there are no doubts. He has no doubts. And he says, I think you're in love. And when I say you're in love, I mean both of you. And he he's like, yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. He's like, I'm reserved. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I get you're reserved, but, I don't want to I don't want to be, go too far, but I think you are in love with her. He says he just doesn't want to get hurt. Um, he's like, you can't live in fear forever. Like, you have to kind of let it be. Then Chalk and Joan are talking after, and she says she's feeling good. She's feeling better than expected. And as they're walking to the car for her to leave, he kind of stops her on the way and tells her, I'm falling in love with you. Um, and it's basically that. She's off, and we're headed back to the mansion because we're going to be doing the rose ceremony. Um, she says she's feeling unsure about how she's going to go about this. Um, but what I also say here too is her dress she looked really good. Like her style, like I've been saying, is really good. Then here comes Jesse, they're talking about how the hometowns went. And she fills them in on all of it. But as the men are showing up and getting ready to do this. So here we go with the rose ceremony, who gets picked. Now, what I'll say before we get into this is how we're going to be talking about um the poll that I did on Twitter last week, and currently there's actually one going on right now. We'll talk about that after. Um, and I honestly believe that, the reason some people haven't picked this person probably because he went home. Y'all, you guys tricked me. So the people who are going home who got picked is Chalk, Guy, and Pascal, which means Jordan is going home. And she walks him out. Um, and to go through all of that, but she comes back in and she says, listen, we're leaving the mansion and we're going to the islands of Tahiti. And that's where we're gonna be sticking to, is the islands of Tahiti until the end. But yeah, that's basically it for that episode, for the episode. I was shocked because I'm like, no one picked a Guy, which made me think that he was going home. And people were picking Jordan, even though at that point he had left. So I'm like, wait a minute. So let's kind of go through the results here. And I think a lot of us kind of already know what the results are going to be. It's pretty much a landslide, really. So the options obviously were all of the men who were going to hometown. So that was Chalk, Pascal, Jordan, and Guy. 13 votes. And Chalk was the clear winner at 69%. I would agree. Pascal was at 23%. Jordan was 8%. And Guy was 0. And I think I know why. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. Right now, though, like I said, there is another one going on right now. Kind of, I said I would do um, with the last episode of who do you think is going to be the next Golden Bachelor, and there is one going on right now on Twitter that you guys can take part in. Currently, I just posted this earlier this morning. As I'm recording this, you're getting this on the same day, so this only went up today. And it was already at 15 votes. And I'm actually pretty amazed by the results so far. But we'll talk about it next week. Uh, so I want to kind of do it prior to the men tell all, because I wanted to make sure the answers wouldn't be skewed, just in case they announce who the Golden Bachelor will be. But yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested by the results so far. But just in case you want to know and you want to take part in it, again, you can find it over at. Let me remember what my thing is here. I don't usually say it anymore. Usually that's pre-done, but at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod on Twitter. there you can take part in the most recent poll that's going on right now. I wonder if I can pin it. But anyways, it's there right now, and you can take part on who do you think is going to be the next Golden Bachelor, which is the options are Mark, right there at the tippy top, Jonathan, Pascal, or Charles, because I have to put him in there because I love him so much. But those are the options. Of course, if you have any other things that you want to include in there that I didn't include a name in there that you think should be there, add it to the comments. But I'm really kind of curious to see what everyone has to say about that prior to next week. But that is it for this episode. The next thing that you guys can expect to get is the Sister Wives episode, which is coming out later on today. That's been ready to go. So you're going to be getting that next. And then after that, because I think I was a little confused as to where we were going to be in terms of what episode was coming next. The next episode after that, which will be coming out tomorrow morning, will be the Love is Blind episode with Ava. So that's basically it. That's it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps, every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.